Hello, everybody. Welcome back to NCAA 2005. And this is the first episode of probably two that we're going to do like this. And then I'm going to change the Idaho Dynasty once again. We'll get into that. I'll mention it probably when I post the schedule on Sunday for the following week. But for right now, we're switching things up and we're adding multiple games to a video to try and see if we can get through this a little bit quicker since, there's not a lot of interesting stuff happening on a game-to-game basis to where we need to highlight specific games when we're already skipping a few. So we're still not any closer to winning games, so I didn't think it was really all that important to keep focusing on games that we weren't winning, especially games that we were getting blown out in. But the Sun Belt is bad, so each game kind of gives you the allure that it is possible to win. I mean, we're heading into this game against Louisiana Lafayette, who's winless right now. They are winless, but last year we did the same thing with Troy State, and it did not end up well in our favor. So just because there's a 0 in the opposing team's win-loss category before there is a number does not mean that we have a heightened chance to win a game. So hopefully that changes here against Louisiana Lafayette, but do not hold your breath. Okay, do not hold your breath. But so 1st and 10 for the Idaho offense, your first play from scrimmage, hand off to number 6, and he's going to get stripped, and the ball's on the ground. It's going to get recovered by Louisiana Lafayette, but there is a flag, and that flag is due to a clipping on one of our offensive linemen. So regardless, Louisiana Lafayette going to climb that one, and they're going to take the fumble and the ball inside our territory. And you can see it, just a good strip here, good effort. Number 6 just couldn't hold on to the football, man. Just had it punched out. A few plays later on a 2nd and 4, the quarterback's going to flip it into the end zone, and our DB was very late to the draw, man. Very late to that play. He was about 4 seconds behind. And look at this, man. I mean, the ball's out before he's even decided to move from his starting. Look at that. I guess it was zone. Maybe that was the problem, and the AI was just locked into that zone. I don't know, but either way, Louisiana Lafayette with the ball once again, and this one's going to be a much deeper or longer pass play. And look at the size difference, man. Just look at the size difference. I want to believe that that's a tight end for the Cajuns, but I don't know, man. That was the speed there, you know what I mean? To believe that our DBs didn't have anywhere near enough speed to get it tight. And look at the size difference. Look at this. Oh, my gosh. Are we starting high schoolers? Technically we are, but starting walk-ons? I mean, what is this? So the first quarter is going to come to a close. Louisiana Lafayette already up 14-0 here. They're going to add a couple field goals here in the second quarter to get up 20-0. And now we, in this play, I highlighted this play because number 6 is going to get injured on this play. That's going to take him out for at least the rest of the game here until next week. We would add a field goal before halftime was over, but 20-3 is going to be your score heading into the second half. Looking for a jump start on offense here on 2nd and 1 for the Cajuns here. It's going to be a huge run play, a huge wide open gap here, and the running back's going to get off to the races here. As again, our secondary just does not have the speed to keep up with the roster here, I guess. I don't know. I'd love to see what Louisiana's roster is looking like overall-wise because, again, from a size and just physicality perspective, they seem like a much superior team here. But to be 0-4, their team has to be pretty awful. So I'm not really sure how that stacks up. But a few plays later here on a 3rd and goal, Louisiana trying to punch this one into the end zone if possible, and in a whole heaping mess of traffic, he somehow finds a receiver, their quarterback does, and that one's going to get hauled in for another Raging Cajun touchdown. So Louisiana really just kind of doing whatever. I mean, we had guys in position there. I'm not even mad about the defensive positioning there. I guess maybe it's just all that physicality I'm talking about and that size. So 27-3 is your score here, but we finally have the ball past midfield here on 2nd and 3. Number 16 is going to drop back, floats a deep shot downfield, and it is caught, and now off to the races. I believe that's Wilkerson, the freshman, who is getting some yardage there on that chunk play here. So on a 3rd and goal, we're going to cut to now, trying to get into the end zone. Need a much-needed boost on offense. Number 16 rolling around in the pocket, zips one across the middle, and finds an open receiver in the end zone for a Vandal touchdown. So we are at least going to score a touchdown in this game. Don't call it a comeback. Don't call it a comeback. I want to see which receiver that was. Might have been Wilkerson again. I don't know if it was. But we're going to go for 2 here to try and just jumpstart us back into this game. We're going to hand it off to the backup running back, who I think is number 1. And he's going to get into the end zone to complete the conversion. So now we're down 11-27, but Louisiana Lafayette already punching this one deep into the red zone, and just one play, or I mean, a few plays, it was a long drive, to get into the end zone to add more points on to their lead. So it's hard to really contain Louisiana's offense. I don't know how they've lost every game so far, but it is early in the season. Maybe they had a tough non-conference schedule. I don't know if they played a conference game, but they are going to take a 34-11 lead here at the end of the third quarter. So we're going to swiftly head into the fourth here and see how this game kind of wraps up. We are on offense again here in Cajun territory. So number 16 rolling out. He's going to decide to run it for himself. He's got some open running space. He's going to get brought down at about the 3-yard line of the Cajuns, man. So, hey, we haven't really run well all game, as you can see on screen, but I didn't think our quarterback could run either, but it did work out. So on second and goal here, number 16 going to flip this one to a wide open tight end in the back of the end zone. Finally, a guy who looks like he belongs on the same field as the opposing team here in terms of size. But it is another Vandal touchdown. So the offense is at least doing something here, and the Cajuns haven't really completely opened it up. I mean, it is opened up. I think the last touchdown probably opened it up, but we're used to being down by quite a bit. So Louisiana would add a couple more field goals here to get up to 40, and that would be it. That would be the end of the game here, and we would lose in another blowout fashion. This is a bit of a weirder game. It was a lot more slower pace. Louisiana Lafayette really wasn't just scoring at will like we're so used to with our opponents, but there really was never a risk that they were going to lose. So we also lose our starting running back in the process, and this is something that we're going to keep watch on as the season progresses, but we do start to stack up the injuries. We definitely do start to stack up the injuries, which, not a super huge thing because we don't have a lot of guys that are worth missing out on, but the guys that we are losing are very important fixtures, so we were bad on third down here. We were good in the red zone, which is nice to see. Louisiana Lafayette, though, still 7 trips to the red zone. You're not going to win games when you're getting up 7 trips to the red zone here. So we're going to move ahead now and play Middle Tennessee State. That is our next conference game. I believe it's the very next game on the schedule, too. I think it is. But Middle Tennessee State is 3-3. Typically through these sims, I think maybe in the earlier games like NCAA03 or 04, Middle Tennessee State always ends up being one of the better teams in the Sun Belt. There's always like one team that just routinely wins it or ends up being good. It's normally North Texas, but Middle Tennessee State also typically does pretty well in Sun Belt play. So they're already 500 here. They're looking to get above 500 with a win today in Moscow. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure that does not happen. But again, I think the Blue Raiders. They have the horse. That always throws me off. But I think they are the Blue Raiders, are they not? Or is that Memphis? Memphis is the Tigers. So I'm going to call Middle Tennessee the Blue Raiders. And, if you want to make fun of me later for being wrong about it, go for it. I always try to flex my ball knowledge, but Middle Tennessee State is one of those schools that I always forget exists. They just kind of get buried away. I always forget where they are, what conference they are, what they're doing. And, I get I get reminded that they're here when I added this, when I play this. So, but either way, their offense is already moving very well. A deep shot into the end zone. That was kind of a jump ball. I don't know if their quarterback didn't necessarily have the arm strength to get it there. You know what I mean? To like get that one on a line, or if he just waited too long and the receivers had to kind of come back for it. But either way, it's going to be a touchdown there. There's that size difference again, man. That receiver is just so much bigger than our DB, so much bigger. But we are moving on offense ourselves here, and number 16 is going to laser this one out to number 19, and he's going to get in for a Vandal touchdown. So we're going to actually answer back. We don't see a lot of answers. We typically play our best ball in the beginning of games, but we don't typically see a lot of like back and forth type of football from the Vandals. So, but either way, Middle Tennessee State has already worked it back in with goal to go. Number 16 going to fake the handoff on a rollout here, and that looks like a tight end who was getting put in the spin cycle after making that catch here. So it was surprising he actually hung on to the football. I'll give him that credit. So after one quarter, Middle Tennessee, it is Blue Raiders, I was right. So Middle Tennessee State takes a 7-point lead over us heading into the second quarter here, but we are moving on offense. On 2nd and 10, we're going to hand it off to number 6. Big ol' open space space here in the middle of the field. Nice spin move to get across midfield. And he's going to get brought down at about the 40-yard line. It's good to see him back healthy in this game after getting injured last game. I think he injured his hip last game, but he seems to be moving pretty well in this ball game. And that was a nice run here. Just kind of tracking the field. He saw the field well there. That was what was so good about that run. He was seeing the field really well. So first and 10 here, number 16, dropping back here, clean pocket, rolls out to the right, lasers it down the sideline, and he finds an open receiver who hauls it in. I would assume that was probably number 19 who he hit. But that ball is caught for a huge first down, another huge Vandal first down. And so now first and goal here for the Vandals. Number 16 dropping back here again. Another very clean pocket, but pressure is getting there. And he's going to flip this one out to, I believe, number 6 out of the flat. I think he sent the running back out on a route, and it ended up paying off well, as the Blue Raiders were not prepared to have to lock out running back on a route there. So we're tied up at 14 here late in the first half. But the Blue Raiders will not be silenced here, as they're going to hand this one off to the running back. And he's got just enough running room on the field to get into the end zone. 10-yard run here, capping off a pretty extensive drive, by the way. Middle Tennessee took off quite a bit of time here. It was like a 10-play drive to get into the end zone. So 21-14 is the score here after one half. We're only down by 7 points, man. So this is giving flashbacks to Washington earlier in the season. Is there a chance for the Vandals? But Middle Tennessee already good field position here. That option play was snuffed out immediately, but the pitch was clean, and the running back was able to still get upfield here and shimmy and shake past a defender or two to still get a nice pickup on the play here. But our defense was well inside on that option play. We got to the quarterback quickly. Well, a couple plays later here, number 27 is going to get the handoff, and he's just going to step into the end zone, man. Just too easy, too easy. There's something I always disliked about this game, even when I was a kid, is how quickly it stops the play when the running back touches the goal line. It's like that's how the sensor is. It's not, the ball at all. Anyway, it's a thing, a small thing to critique here. But Middle Tennessee is finally, they're going to try and open some things up here. It's number 82, who's been a pretty big force for the Blue Raiders all game, is finally really kind of unleashing hellfire on our secondary here. Is number 16, just easy peasy, man, just lighting this thing up. Look at this, just no shot there. Huge touchdown, and again the size difference, just crazy. So we have a punt play now. Middle Tennessee up here 35. We've added a field goal here to get 35-17. Number 6 on the return is going to get hurt again. He's going to hurt his knee this time. So number 6, maybe towards this middle part of the season, starting to get a little bit brittle here. He can't really make it through the game. So we're going to lose our starting running back once again. So another important injury to keep note of, but 35-17 is going to be the score heading into the fourth quarter. But we have a shot here on offense here. Number 16 lobs one up here. That one's going to get tipped and picked. So an unfortunate tip and pick situation here, but that is exactly what we're looking at. So number 16, I thought had been pretty good protecting the football up until this point here, but not really too much his fault. I mean, that was a contested catch here, but still, you get your hands on the football, come down with it, or at least play some defense. So an unfortunate break, and Middle Tennessee already looking to add some points here to cap off this mistake, and now it's first and goal for the Blue Raiders. Going to try and punch it in on the ground. Number 27 gets into the end zone, and it's another Blue Raider touchdown. And I'd say this one is just about over, man. I'd say 42-17 is probably enough to put her away. So I guess I'll start spieling about what the series is going to entail, even though Middle Tennessee would add another touchdown. So 49-17 is your score. So I guess I'll start spieling about what the series is going to be like moving forward. So I was a lot more optimistic about what this series could potentially be through its first couple seasons. It's still a lot worse than I thought. I've tried it before, and it's not really working, or it didn't really work out. So my plan is to now switch this series to a season of video. That's what I'm looking to do. Kind of like the Louisiana Monroe series I did at the end of summer last year. I'm thinking about switching the Vandal series to that. I just think it would be a little bit easier to make. And I think we go by a little bit faster. I wanted to spend a lot of time on this series, regardless of how bad they would be. But seeing as how, to me at least, how unenjoyable, a game-by-game basis with this kind of series, us being this bad would be, I'm like, it'd probably just be better if we just went a season by season per video until we got through it. But either way, heading back to the Hub World here, we pick up 2 huge wins here against Troy State and Arkansas State. We get our revenge on Troy State here. And that gets us up to 3-7. So we are 3-4 in conference. Still waiting for a win in our own video, but either way, that's going to take us into the last video where we're going to cover North Texas and then FCS Montana. That's going to be in the next video. So North Texas will probably beat us up good, but we should have a good chance against Montana. So hope to see you guys back in Moscow when we take on North Texas and Montana, of course.